here's the thing. For everybody listening, don't make the same mistake the Bengals just did in any facet of your life.
People are going to get hurt. It's the hockey season.
What about the Jared Cook play on the sideline?
I was very tempted to just put defense.
I'm saying it right now. If Anthony Davis is out for the playoffs, they don't make it out of the first round.
Come on, Austin and I have been saying this ever since Joe Burrow got injured.
I don't really think the Dodgers are going to make the World Series this year. I feel like they'll make it to the NLCS.
The Fernando Tatis extension, because that really surprised me.
Like you said, Ovechkin, he's getting older. He hasn't been playing as well as I imagined. He's one of the greatest goal scorers of all time, but he hasn't started off this season as hot as I would hope.
Hi, I'm Jeff Allen, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. It is Super Bowl week, Super Bowl weekend, Super Bowl day for whenever you're listening to this. And I'm joined by the man that we've seen different eras of these teams. And I'm joined by the man, Austin.
Yeah, this was the first or the last Super Bowl we didn't cover, was the one between these two teams back in the Super Bowl happened in 2020. It was the 2019 season. So this was before our podcaster days of these teams played, but much different teams now. Now Mahomes is more the check down guy and Purdy's the one who airs it out. The Chiefs defense is now second in points against, second in yards against, while San Francisco still very, very good at third in points against and eighth in yards against. But the Chiefs, you could argue, had the best defense in the league when you look at points and yards, and then Niners, easy a top five team. But what are your kind of game trends? What are you really looking at? I know it's really tough because both of these teams are so good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a defensive battle. And out of all the options, I don't know if I said this in the last Super Bowl video we did, this is probably the most entertaining one to see because I think the Ravens, it would have been a competitive game, but I think this game has the potential.
It has the potential, but I do think it has a low ceiling. I could see this being a very low scoring game because the Chiefs are such a bad offense this year compared to where they have been. And their defense is so good. So if we look at the Chiefs, their offense this year is just 15th in points for. And when you look at yards, they're 6th in yards. So they're top 10 offense, while the Niners are much better on offense. They're second in yards. The Chiefs are they're 9th in yards. So the Chiefs are 9th in yards, total yards. They're 6th in passing yards. That's why I got confused. But they're 9th in total yards and 15th in points. So they're like 12th, 13th best team. While the league rank offense for the Niners, they're second in yards and third in points. So they're a much better offense. I could see this getting out of hand. I don't think it will because of how good the Chiefs defense is. But I do think the ceiling is low. I could see it being a very low scoring game where the 49ers just brute force them because of the Chiefs' lack of rushing defense compared to their offense.
Yeah, and that was something I want to talk about was the rush defense. This is probably the toughest matchup for this defense as we look at looking at the defenses they've played. Oh, I was looking at the Niners schedule, not the Chiefs schedule. That's my bad. But the Niners, it's just their defense, and if the Chiefs have to win this, it has to be a low-scoring game. They can't do it, especially against this Niners defense. So that's why I think it's going to be a low-scoring game because of the great defenses that gets overshadowed by the quarterbacks. Mahomes with the name, and then the offense with Purdy as the quarterback and the offensive mind of Kyle Shanahan. So this is where I think one key drive can hurt the opponent's chances significantly, specifically the Chiefs, because we've talked about their offense in once they got it. They look better, but they're statistically the same as you brought it up. It's just they got to do it. Mahomes has to be perfect if they want to get into high scoring range, and the Niners defense to me makes that tough, especially as it looks like Joe Tooney is not going to be in that offensive line. You already have tough tackles against Nick Bosa. You got who's the defensive lineman the Niners signed from the Eagles?
Oh, Eagles? I don't remember.
I don't know. But it's middle of the pack because Eric Armstead is still on the team. And then I'm not sure if Chase Young is going to play, but this still.
Well, the D line for the 49ers isn't their problem. The problem with the 49ers line is their passing defense, which is I think I could see the Chiefs winning a high scoring game because the Niners have allowed the 14th most not 14th. They're the 14th best against the pass, which is just average. I would say probably 12 to 18 is probably average. Maybe 14 to 18 is average, but they're not great against the pass. So I could see them getting into attractive positioning, the Chiefs. But the problem is the 49ers do have the most picks in the league this year. They have 22 picks this year, which is, like I said, first. So I don't think Mahomes necessarily has to be perfect because their defense is just mediocre against the pass. But them getting picks, they are a ball hawking team, and so the Chiefs can't make too many errors. But I would say the Chiefs, Mahomes has not been great in the Super Bowl in his career, and he threw 2 picks against the 49ers and still won the game last time they played. So I don't think he has to be perfect. I just think he has to have good offensive production from Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce and Isaiah Pacheco for them to win the game. Now, it's going to be hard for Pacheco because they are such a great run defense team, the 49ers are, and that's because they're 2 great linebackers in Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner. But their passing defense isn't all that spectacular. So I could see the Chiefs winning this in a high-scoring game. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so the guy is Javon Hargrave. So he could have a big day if he's facing Tyler Algier. Or that might be it's Tyler Algier, who's the guard that replaced Tooney in the game against the Ravens. But so those are good numbers with the passing defense. It's just, to me, the lack of play on the tackles, the holding penalties that they get, that's going to set them back. That's going to put them in in most likely passing situations. So I think the pass rush can get to Mahomes to where he really doesn't have enough time to make those type of throws. So it's going to be on Mahomes to create time because I just don't believe in the tackles. The middle offensive line is incredible with Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, but they're missing Joe Tooney. So it's just the pressure affecting the passing game. I see that as a big thing. So to get rid of that pressure, they're going to have to run the ball. But as you brought up, this is a tough team to run against. And I think that's what has really helped this Chiefs offense this season because of the production from the wide receivers outside of Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce. So it's going to be on this defense. And this defense has a tough job for me. Has a tough job for them as I'm thinking about it. They're 18th in yards allowed. This is really, you pointed to earlier, this is kind of the weakness in this Chiefs defense is their run game. To me, they're going to have a big game from Nick Bolton. And I'm not sure, or I'm looking, it looks like, or I don't see anything on the injury report for Willie Gay.
Yeah, I think he's going to play.
Okay, so that's good news for the Chiefs because they did have legit, I can't remember. Oh, Tranquil. But Willie Gay and Nick Bolton are going to have to play their best game. And Nick Bolton stepped up last year in the Super Bowl. But when I think of Kyle Shanahan, if that run game gets going, they're not going to get pressure against Purdy. And he's going to have his time to really eliminate everyone. Or have his time to pick the right matchup. So that's my view. Charles Omenihu is also out, so that hurts the Chiefs' pass rush as well.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough, but I do think that the Chiefs' offense will be good enough because it's just Mahomes can't create his own sacks. Like I've seen so many stats saying that Mahomes is running into pressure at times, and as long as he's running away from it, I think he'll be fine. You do bring up a good point. But Nick Bosa and Chase Young are going to have to be game records if Chase Young does play. And especially Nick Bosa is going to have to be a game record because the Chiefs offense win hot no matter who is on the O-line can still make big plays because of Mahomes and because of Kelsey and because of Rashee Rice. So we're going to have to see. Andy Reid's going to come with a game plan. So I don't think that the Chiefs offense will be stifled, but we'll see.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, and we'll just have to see. And I thought the Chiefs couldn't score more than 20 points to win the Ravens. I think they scored just a little bit more.
They scored. No.
They scored exactly 20.
They scored 17 against the Ravens.
They scored 17, yeah. So
17-10 was the end score. They scored 0 points in the second half. I do think that the 49ers passing defense isn't great. While with the Ravens it is, because they have Marlon Humphrey and Kyle Hamilton and so many other great secondary pieces. So this is a different game, but also it's going to be we'll see. I think there's a lot to be determined.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's like the most entertaining option out of all of them, predictably. But things could go wrong. I could see the Niners dismantling the Chiefs just defense, and the defense had a bad performance last game against the Lions. They let the Lions score 30 points on them, so they may have a little bit more juice to stop this Chiefs defense.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game, and it's just when you get to this point, anyone could win one game, and that's you have to, like, if we're saying who's the better team based on everything we've seen all year, it'd be the Niners. But in one game against great coach in Andy Reid, it's gonna be hard. This is really Kyle Shanahan's game, though, because he has to prove to everyone that he can actually win at the highest level.
Yeah, and for the Niners, you brought up Kyle Shanahan. It looks like they may have gotten over the hump of trailing behind and winning. And when I think of the Chiefs, we of course think of Mahomes. I also think of Kelsey. Like, I think this might, if he has a huge game, that alters the offense. Similar, it looks like he's starting to break out. In his podcast, he quoted, or I heard, not a direct quote, but he was like, "Yeah, I just get super hyped up. It's hard to do that for regular season games. He's going to be amped up." So if he has a huge game, then I'm like, man, that's a huge credit to the Chiefs, and that means their offense is rolling if Kelsey's rolling.
Yeah. Well, do you want to get into these predictions?
Yes. So for anyone that's we'll say an outsider for a while knows, Austin and I do predictions based on the bets. This includes various stuff. Last year, we had how many songs Rihanna would do. And if you're new to us, yeah, so we of course have who's winning. We of course have a Super Bowl player, but we also have some wacky ones, which is always fun. And the first one, Austin, I'll let you kind of intro it first on our first prediction.
Yeah, so our first has always been coin toss. This is one where Kevin always says, tails never fails. Well, I'm more of a tails always fails guy. I think heads wins. I always pick heads. When you look at the Patriots against the Falcons, Matthew Slater said heads, and they won it. When you go against the Chiefs in overtime in 2018, Matthew Slater said heads, and they won it. I'm a heads guy, and I think heads wins.
Yeah, I know. I went tails last year, and you're like, no, don't do that, and it worked. But I just go, like, when I'm feeling, I went heads. It's usually, I would do it when calling games. I usually see which one's on top if I'm calling the toss. Did you do that when you do games or no?
No, I just pick heads.
Okay. I was like, okay, heads is on top. Then I would probably pick tails because it flips.
I just
Okay. No,
tails always fails.
I know you always pick
heads.
heads. I'm gonna go heads because that's what I'm feeling. Now we got over under national anthem and Reba McEntire. Last year I was pretty sure it was Chris Stapleton.
It was, and it was very good. The under or over is 90.5 seconds, so it has to be either under 9.5. So it either has to be 90, that's under, or 91, that's over, or any time that's under or over that amount. So Kevin, what do you have, under or over?
I have over. Apparently the average singing for national anthem is around 115 seconds. So, and Reba McEntire is a little bit country, so I'm gonna go over.
We agree again. 90.5 just seems so short for what it's been. I looked at the first spread, and the first spread was 82.5, and then they moved it to 90.5. I think it'll maybe get moved again before this video gets posted. I couldn't see it be under.
Like it's got to be 100.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 100. If it was 100, I'd have more trouble. But I think it's pretty easily over. And if you remember last year, like you said, I think it was 120. I think it was 2 minutes. I think it was.
Yeah, it was like 2 minutes, and he went over. And I'm like, it's Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
He's gonna go over.
I think 90 is light work. I think it is.
That is short. Yeah, I was like, man, 90. Okay. Now we have the next one.
So the first team to score, I have the Chiefs.
Ooh, okay, we disagree. I'm going Niners.
Okay, and then your player?
McCaffrey.
Okay, I have Harrison Butker, so I think it's going to be a
Nice.
field goal.
That's a good one. That's a good choice. And then, yeah, I just think the Niners come out with a plan. It's Kyle Shanahan, and I have the run game going early, and I think McCaffrey gets a touchdown.
Well, I think the Chiefs get the ball first, and they kick a field goal to start it out. So that's
okay. Nice. All right. Yeah, I think whoever gets the ball first scores.
I agree. I agree. I'm just banking on it being the Chiefs. So
yeah, no, I'm banking on it being the Niners because we talked about the offensive heads in this matchup. They're going to have a well-done drive, a well-predicted drive that works. And then it's just kind of what's the counter punch once the first team gets punched or the other defenses adjust. But now, this is another wacky prediction for all our listeners.
Yeah, so which Usher song will be the first one performed? So last year, like you said, we did the over-under on how many songs would be sung at half, I believe.
Yeah, you won that. I was
I
was like, there's only going to be like 4 or 5, and there were like 10 or something.
Yeah, I think the over-under was like 6.5 or something like that, and I went over, you went under. But this time, I went with the first Usher song being Yeah. I don't know many Usher songs, but I thought that would be a good start. What about you?
I agree. That's what I did. I don't know many Usher songs.
I don't know many Usher songs.
And it'd be funny, like he comes up and he's like, yeah. People are probably getting so mad. I'm not. I know Taylor Swift and country. That's it. So
Taylor Swift and country. Okay, that is how she started. But
she is how she started. So
what do you have Usher the final score?
2016. And the Chiefs. Or no, not the Chiefs. Niners.
Niners win?
Niners win.
Okay, we agree. I have it being 28-25 Niners.
Okay, yeah, you want more high scoring than me. I think it's going to be defensive matchup. The key is touchdowns versus field goals, and I'll just go into my MVP as Christian McCaffrey. I see low scoring game, run game. Who is the better run team? I'm going to go Niners.
I also have McCaffrey. I think he scores at least 2 touchdowns in this game.
Wow. Okay. We are pretty lockstep on this. Now, the final one, I'll let you introduce this one. This
is the most important one of all of them. More important than who wins. What Gatorade color it will be. I'll let you go first. I went first last time.
You and I probably went the same route because there was an interview question for Kyle Shanahan, who would be the winning coach in my prediction. His favorite Gatorade color is orange, so I went orange.
Okay, we went different, and I went with yellow / lime green / green or whatever that color is. And it's because both the Niners and the Chiefs are red, so people are going to say, oh, it's red. No, they both have like a hint of yellowish, like either it's gold or yellow. So I went with a little, it doesn't matter which sideline it is. If it's the yellow-green, it kind of fits. So I went with yellow-green.
All right, yeah. I'm like, maybe
I did see that question.
Yeah, I was like, I saw that. I'm like, all right, let me make sure. But yeah, no. I'm always thinking of Gatorade color, and I'll be at a party. I remember last year I was at a Super Bowl party on my timer, and they're like, why are you timing the national anthem? I'm like, I need to see if I got this bet. They're like, did you bet on this? I'm like, no. I'm just did it for the podcast.
Yeah. I'm always waiting after the Super Bowl. No matter if it's a blowout, I gotta see the Gatorade color. Like, what color is it? Show it. I remember last year, I think it was they didn't show it for a while, or maybe it was 2 years ago. One of the years recently, they didn't show it, and everyone at where I was watching the game was like, "Why aren't they showing the Gatorade color?" It's so funny. But
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for this game, and I hope the Niners don't win, but they're the better team, and this is going to be a huge game for Mahomes and Kelsey.
our
And,
predictions
yeah.
aren't supposed to be based on personal affliction, so
Well, yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's it. I'm hoping the Chiefs win, but they got a tough uphill battle, and it's probably Mahomes going to be the MVP if they win, but Nick Bolton could do it. Kelsey, I think, could be up for it too. Just because I think of the linebackers and what they will need to do, in my personal opinion, and how I see the game going, what they'll need to do to stop this Niners offense.
yeah, I think it'll be a good game. We'll have to see. Do the Chiefs win part 2 against the Niners, or do the Niners get their revenge from a couple years ago?
And it would qualify them as a dynasty, correct? Because it'd be 3 wins in 6
5.
years. Or 5? Yeah, 5. So, a lot riding on this one. That's all we got. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you have a great Super Bowl Sunday. And that's all we got. And let us know any other bets we have. And we appreciate you commenting. We'll try to get to it. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter for all the notifications. And thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.